A much needed win for Liverpool yesterday, and in today's video we have some huge Liverpool news regarding a potential deal as an agreement is seen to be imminent. We'll get into this today along with all the other Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool news. Let's get straight into today's video. So yeah, a great an important win for Liverpool yesterday, and we're going to start by talking about Milos Kerkez. Obviously, he came off late in the game yesterday. A fairly solid performance from the Hungarian, something we've definitely been missing since he joined Liverpool. A lot of promise since he joined from Bournemouth. Sorry, and he's just not really lived up to it so far. Which is a shame because, he's a very promising player. And we've seen glimpses of how good he can be. He's got that natural aggression about him. And he's like what Curtis Jones was saying. He's a bit of a dog, whereas like he will dive into a challenge and he will get a bit rough. And that is what Liverpool need, really. It's just not really worked for him so far. However, yesterday he was a lot more promising. However, he did hobble off in around the 85th minute, I do believe, for Andy Robertson to come on. And Arne Slot has actually spoken about a fitness update regarding our Hungarian left back, which we will talk about today. But overall, the game yesterday, I don't think it was a fantastic performance. I think, especially after the first goal, things really switched off for Liverpool. But it's better to play bad and get the win than play well and lose. But then again, I don't think we played bad. I just don't think we were great. But yeah, 2-0, that's all that matters. And hopefully it will be some good momentum to get our season really underway now and get back into them Champions League spaces. So yeah, let's see what Slot had to say. So there is no injury to report. Slot confirmed it was cramp during his post-match press conference, allaying fears of another issue for the fullback, which is obviously really good news. It just shows that maybe his fitness levels are not as high as they should ideally be at the minute. But with the form that Robertson is on, Robertson's playing fairly well this season. I think it's okay. I don't think it's too big of an issue. But we'll read what Slot had to say. So Slot said, the only moment when Jared Bowen had a chance was when Kerkez was out, but that was nothing to do with the fullback that was in. That was the only good chance they had. As a result of that, the only chance Bowen had, a good performance, a good defensive performance from him, which I fully agree with. I think he was fairly solid at left back yesterday. I think he was also attacking-wise a threat a few times in the first half, and another time when it didn't lead to a shot on target, but a cutback across from him where we overloaded the box. These are all good moments where I think if we're in a better moment of form, these moments could lead to more goals, which is a very good point from Slot. The confidence level is very low at Liverpool at the minute. So really, 2-0 yesterday, maybe it could have been 4-5-0. Had our confidence been a bit higher. Good, but it also maybe tells you something I've emphasised a lot of times. Some players need to adapt to the Premier League, and I've emphasised a lot of times the fact some players need to adapt to 3 games a week. I don't think Kerkez needs to adapt to the Premier League. I can get he needs to adapt to 3 times a week, but that's not a constant thing throughout the whole season. That's for a certain period of time. But it's not a full season thing. Yeah, it's something to get used to, definitely. But that's why you have depth. I just feel like Slot at the minute is just talking and not really saying anything of value. And it's kind of worrying actually. He just seems to be making excuses. I think Kerkez has definitely got some fitness issues. I think maybe some confidence issues. It could genuinely be nerves to play him for Liverpool. He's a young lad, moved from Bournemouth to Liverpool for a big fee. It could genuinely be nerves. It could be adapting to a new system. It could be a lot of things, but I don't think adapting to the Premier League is a genuine reason for why Kerkez has struggled. But anyway, that is all for Kirkes today. Let's get into our main story for today, as a potential deal for Liverpool is reportedly imminent. And we also have an update on the Mark Guehi situation. So this is coming from Liverpool.com, who are reporting a article from Team Talk, which, it's definitely not gospel what they say, but they do report a lot of reliable stuff. So Team Talk reports that Liverpool have started to see a fresh promise that an agreement with Konate could be reached after months of slow negotiations. The Reds will not pay over the odds to try and keep Konate, but the negotiation position has been strengthened, and Konate's weakened by Madrid's change of heart, which is what we were saying. We were saying that when Madrid dropped out, it probably meant a deal for Konate was going to happen, but this sort of confirms it. The reason behind Madrid's decision to withdraw is apparent interest in Konate is not clear, but the player's terrible form must surely factor into things, which is something we said as well. Like, maybe his form is the reason. Spanish outlet Defensa Central reported last week Konate's poor form is indeed the reason behind Madrid turning its attention elsewhere. Real Madrid consider Konate one of the best centre-backs currently available, but in recent months his performance has been below the usual standard. It says, I completely agree. Although it's a low-risk deal for Madrid, getting Konate in on a free or a cut-price deal in January, they're not going to want dead weight, especially a team like Madrid that, despite being one of the stronger sides in La Liga, and one of the favourites to win the league every year, they're still not going to want dead weight just laying about. But then we have Mark Guehi potentially moving to Real Madrid. So Mark Guehi could instead look at Real Madrid could instead look at Mark Guehi as a free agent when his Crystal Palace contract expires at the end of campaign. Guehi remains a top target for Liverpool, but the Reds no longer have a free run at the Palace captain that they appear to have in the summer. Palace agreed to sell Guehi to Liverpool on deadline day, only to pull the plug on the deal due to Palace manager Oliver Glasner concerned over lack of squad depth. Liverpool is now likely to face plenty of competition to sign Guehi. Yes, I think we expected that, really. There was always going to be competition for Mark Guehi going into the January transfer window and even the summer when his contract does expire. But I guess we're just going to have to deal with that. And if we can sign Guehi, that's great. If not, then, there's other targets out there. But let me know what you think on today's news. Are you happy with the news about Kirkes? And how do you feel about Ibrahim Konate potentially getting a new deal? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But that is all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.